Okay, so this year's Japanese fishing shows have officially come and gone, and it's finally time to do the wrap-up video for all the interesting tackle releases from Shimano this year. Now, I've already went over the big bait releases in a previous video with the new ANTARES monster drive, the new CONQUEST monster drive, and the Disruptor or Disruption swim bait rod series that have come out. So let's get to some, normal tackle. And we're going to start off with a reel that should have come out back in 2020. And no, it's not a new Metanium DC, unfortunately, but it is a quote-unquote new or updated Metanium. As you can see, they put update here. And that is the introduction of a 100 spool size Metanium. Now, the reel that came out in 2020, that was actually a 70 spool size, and of course last year they came out with a shallow spool version, which was a 30 spool size. So this year they've added a 100 spool size to the mix, and if this is it, it looks pretty much exactly just like the 70 spool size. And really the only way you're going to be able to tell the difference between them is the designation of 100 right here on the side plate. But like I said, they should have come out with the 100 spool size to begin with. So yeah, for those of you guys who want to save money and get your Metaniums from Japan, but you're kind of put off by the somewhat limited line capacity of the current Metanium and the shallow spool version, they are coming out with a 100 spool size, and it looks like the right hands are coming out in March and the lefties are coming out in May. Now, I don't know if this is going to be replacing the 70 spool size, or if they're going to be selling all three. But according to this, it's going to hold 100 meters of 14 pound versus 100 meters of 12 pound for the 70 model. So yeah, kind of a mediocre but very much needed update for the Metanium. And personally, I do not plan on getting one of these. If I get another Metanium, it's definitely going to be the shallow spool. But I did pick up a aftermarket bait finesse spool for my current Metanium from China, and you guys are gonna have to wait for that video to come out because that spool is pretty radical. Alright, so next up we have another new SLX DC. Only it's not new, it's just the original SLX DC, but they've updated the spool to the narrower MGL3, and therefore they have, in their words, in addition, the firmware of the electronically controlled brake system IDC4 has been renewed. So with the addition of the lower, inertia, faster MGL3 spool, they had to reprogram the IDC4. Now, I currently have the first SLX DC JDM version, and while that reel was nice, especially for the price you could get it for, I much prefer paying more money and getting the XT version. But let me let you guys see a video on this reel. You can definitely check it out in more detail. It's a 70 designation just like the previous one. Gone is the blue spool of the previous model that was modified to hold less line. See, the spool used to be blue, and now it's just that plain dark gray of the MGL3. Now, the paint job has changed a little bit. I think it's the same color, but the finish has went from a matte finish or a satin finish to a gloss finish, and they've added the chrome piece here on the handle side plate, just like the American version. Or was that always there? I can't remember, because it's been a while since I've even looked at my JDM SLX DC. But it's a good looking reel. There's the MGL3 spool. I think the handle has been beefed up. I could be mistaken, but there you go, guys. That's the new updated SLX DC, and I believe this is the cheapest Shimano DC reel you can buy. Depending on the exchange rate right now, they're probably going for like 150 bucks. Okay, so now it's time to get to probably what I consider Shimano's biggest release for this year as far as the freshwater tackle goes, and that is a new Vanquish spinning reel. Now, as most of you guys know, I'm not a big spinning reel person, but even I know that Shimano's Vanquish was considered the best ultralight quick response spinning reel in the world, and that was the old Vanquish. But now they've got a new one, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this video from Shimano Southeast Asia that's going to explain to you all the new technologies, as well as what makes this Vanquish what it is and what it's for. So here we go.
Beyond lightness. Lightweight in hand and light rotation create immense benefits for anglers. For anglers who want enhanced control of their lure's action. For anglers who want to feel even the smallest of changes during the retrieve. Embody these desires and enhance your senses to a new degree. Vanquish. Shimano's MGL series of spinning reels emphasizes light rotation by featuring lightweight MGL rotors. Part of the MGL series, Vanquish features Shimano's lightest MGL rotor with an asymmetrical design. The MGL rotor reduces the moment of inertia during rotation. Let's compare Vanquish's MGL rotor with that of Stella's metal rotor. We will look at a weight drop to see two things. One is the difference of the rotation speed of handle. Other is the time until the handle stops naturally after giving the same force to both handles. As you can see, Vanquish rotates faster and stops faster, which means anglers can start and stop reeling with less force. On the other hand, Stella rotates more slowly and continues to spin for a longer period of time. Overall, metal rotors have a higher moment of inertia. They require a bit more force to start reeling, but keep spinning for longer periods of time, benefiting anglers by reducing the effort while fishing long, repeated retrieves. On the other hand, the MGL rotor requires less force to start reeling, and also has less sustained rotation during the retrieve. This benefits anglers who want to make action to the lure by instant reeling, and to feel the slightest change which impacts to the rotation. This is sense of lightness, which you can feel through Vanquish. The all-new Vanquish features infinity loop technology to create a super dense winding pattern, same as Stella. The continued evolution of the reel's internal structures enables the speed at which the spool moves up and down to be incredibly slow, reducing the uneven winding often caused during a spool's oscillation. This also reduces unnecessary vibration transmitted to an angler's hand. When combined with the low rotational inertia of the MGL rotor, the lure action under the water is evident. In situations where a more finesse or precise presentation is required, the MGL rotor provides greater feedback to the angler during the retrieve. Additionally, the precise manner by which the line is wrapped around the spool significantly reduces friction when the line leaves the spool during the cast. This not only gives the angler an enhanced feeling when casting, but also contributes to increased sensitivity upon lure falling. This is not the only evolution of Vanquish. It benefits from all of the new technologies within Stella. Infinity Cross increases gear durability by nearly double compared to previous gear designs. Infinity Drive enables anglers to reel with less force than previous models, even under load. The anti-twist fin contributes to reduced line troubles. And DuraCross improves drag washer durability. Lightness is often taken for granted. Now we have achieved lightness with even greater rigidity. Enhanced sensitivity. With enhanced sensitivity, explore a world you've never seen. Beyond lightness. Vanquish.
So I'll admit, after watching that video, I was really impressed. Almost impressed enough to buy one, but I think I'm gonna hold off because the Vanquish is pretty much third in line behind the STELLA and the EXSENCE as far as price goes when it comes to Shimano's spinning reels. So you're looking at a price of 65,000 to 68,000 yen. So you're probably looking at at least a $400 spinning reel. And since I'm a bait finesse guy, I'm not spending $400 just to try out a reel and not get my money's worth out of it. But if you're looking for one of these Vanquishes, looks like the 1000 size is going to be coming out in April, but the other sizes are going to come out in March. So you can see right here, they just have a litany of Shimano marketing hype. But I think the Vanquish might be the lightest spinning reel in the world. Probably running pretty close to Abu Garcia's Xenon. But they lightened it up incrementally from the last model by like 5 grams. But coincidentally, DAIWA came out with their LEWS Arity spinning reel to compete with the Vanquish also this year. But once again, I'm not a spinning reel guy, so I'm sure one of the Japanese YouTubers are going to buy both and do a comparison. But yeah, Vanquish, considered the finest ultralight quick response spinning reel in the world. And with this new model, it's probably going to continue that reign. So let's get to the last interesting bit of tackle that I found at this year's Japanese fishing shows. Okay, so the last item I'm going to cover is probably an item most of you guys are going to be interested in, and that is a budget bass fishing rod. And let me tell you, this rod looks sick. So here I am on Shimano's Japanese website, and let's go down to the bass rods. Now they did add a lot of models to a lot of more expensive lines like the BANTAM, X Pride, Zodius, the Poison Glorious series, but this is what I'm talking about, the Bass 1XT. I know it says bus, but for some reason Google translates it to bus. But this is a budget line of rods from Shimano, and check these rods out. These things look sick. Look at that foregrip, and look at the price, 10,500 yen to 12,000. So these are probably going to be just under $100 when they come out. And let's check out the lineup. But first, let's look at that forenut and reel seat again. And these rods are going to have specialized models as well. As you can see, BFS, SB for swim bait, and then the S for spinning. But it's going to have a CI4 plus reel seat. This split grip assembly looks very much like the old Zodius, and I wouldn't be surprised if they are exactly the same, but they're EVA. But what they've done is they've color coded it. I don't know if you guys can tell in this picture, but this section is a dark gray and this section is black. And it says right here, considering the performance required for each position, a soft EVA material is placed directly below the gray color reel that is easy to grip, and hard EVA material is placed on the black rear grip so that is easy to apply force. So this EVA is going to be softer, more comfortable, while this EVA is going to be harder and I guess more grippy. That's what I get out of that explanation. Okay, so here's some footage of a guy that I subscribe to that actually goes to these Japanese fishing shows every year. But just take a look at how awesome these rods look. He's showing us the models. But boom, look at that. Right there in the video you can actually see that the, I guess, upper part of the handle is gray and the bottom part is actually looks to be a darker gray. It's not quite black. But man, these rods, they look sick. Now, is this the next shorts? I'm not sure. No, that's the same one. Okay, here's a better video of him talking to one of Shimano's pro staff. But I think he's talking about the new Bass XT rods. Come on, let's see. See if he shows us a little bit more of that handle assembly. Here we go. Yeah, you can definitely see the two-tone handle assembly there. And either that guy's hand's really small or it looks like the grips are actually thicker than usual, which I'm definitely a fan of. But it looks like they're using the Perfection reel seat. Now these blanks don't appear to have any of, you know, the Spiral X or High Power X tape wrap, but that's okay. If you remember, the Majestic rod line was pretty much a basic blank that was actually really impressive. Alright, let's see. Is he gonna give us any better views? Okay, here we go. Yeah, that handle, the top part of the handle definitely looks lighter gray. But yeah, I'm definitely getting at least 2 of these. Definitely the Bait Finesse model and the 6'10" medium or medium heavy. There we go, guys. The final video of the 2023 Japanese fishing shows. And I can say there's good news and bad news. The good news is I really only want one item, and that's that Bass XT rod. So that means I'm going to literally save hundreds of dollars. But the bad news is that they didn't really come out with anything new that I would want personally. And in fact, I think the only new thing they came out with was the Vanquish spinning reel. As far as the baitcasters go, they were just pretty much updates to existing models. So let me know in the comment section if you guys are planning on getting one of these Bass 1XT rods, because they look so good and they're gonna be so cheap. Yeah, just look at that. I'm definitely picking up at least 2. But yeah, let me know if you thought that this year's releases were mediocre. I know it was a big year for the big swim bait guys, but for me and my style of fishing, it was pretty blah. Alright guys, thanks a lot.